Simply put, we have often had to purchase our energy from regimes and nations that don't always have our best interests at heart. This is one of the reasons why the American Legion support the construction of the Keystone XL pipeline. Not only would it provide needed jobs for veterans, it would reduce our dependency on Middle Eastern oil. Our next guest earned an engineering degree at the United States Military Academy at West Point and an MBA from Petroleum University. He is a past chairman of the American Petroleum Institute's Pipeline Committee and is the president and CEO of Colonial Pipeline. He also serves as chairman of the Common Ground Alliance, an organization dedicated to preventing damage to all underground facilities, including pipelines. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Tim Felt.
Well, thank you very much for that welcome. And I wasn't prepared to see that rather extensive video that covers a lot of the material that I probably would have wanted to cover. But I am honored to be here today and represent America's oil and natural gas industry before a group of individuals whose stories are the history of service to our nation, both in peace and in war. As an organization, the Legion sets the standard for supporting America's youth, its veterans, and returning war heroes. So on behalf of the oil and natural gas industry, I'd like to thank you. Our industry provides a strong link to America's military by providing the energy it needs in both peacetime and wartime operations. We provide feedstocks necessary for manufacturing critical equipment used by all the armed services. The gasoline, diesel, and fuel and military fuels we provide not only keep the military on the move, it provides an unequal transportation system for our country. As I will outline today, we have the opportunity to make ourselves even more secure as a nation by producing more of this energy here at home. The oil and natural gas industry supports more than 9 million jobs and contributes almost 8% to the GDP of the country. We also pay our fair share. In 2011, the effective tax rate for our industry was 40.6% as compared to 25% for the rest of the industrial companies in the S&P. Those numbers are hard to put in perspective, so let me put it another way. Every day, the oil and gas industry pays $86 million to the federal government in rents, royalties, income taxes, and bonus payments. Now, this is not a complaint. Every one of us in the oil and gas industry knows how lucky we are to live in the United States. Our time, our effort, our investments go to serve the country. Every year, the industry invests more than $470 billion in the U.S. economy. That's more than half the entire 2009 stimulus package. And the great thing is, it comes from private industry. And it happens every year without an act of Congress. It doesn't cost the taxpayers a dime. Since 2000, the industry has invested more than $2 trillion in all forms of energy, including alternative energies. In fact, one of every $5 invested in renewable energy since 2000 has come from the oil and gas industry. I'd like to speak for just a moment about the part of the industry I know pretty well, and that's Colonial Pipeline Company and the liquid pipeline industry. We're a relatively small company, a little over 700 people, located in Atlanta, Georgia. We take, despite all the recent tough economic times, our company has hired about 150 people in the last few years, and we're about ready to fill another 30 to 50 positions. We spend hundreds of millions of dollars on upgrading our capabilities, and we're ready to do more. We're a very efficient operation, moving a gallon of gasoline from the Gulf Coast to New York City for 4.5 cents a gallon, no matter what the price of fuel is. I said we're a small company, and we are, but we're representative of many of the companies in the oil and gas industry, some smaller, some larger, and like them, we are all ready to do more. We could produce even more energy and put even more people to work. And we could dramatically enhance our national security by vastly producing or even eliminating the dependence on energy from other countries. This is all possible because America's energy resources in 2012 are unmatched by any nation. We can now drill for oil and gas more than a mile below the ocean surface, looking for oil and gas that are several miles below the sea floor. And we can reach these vast supplies of shale oil and natural gas using technologies such as hydraulic fracturing. We're producing so much natural gas, in fact, that prices have plummeted. It's been a boon to homeowners who heat with gas or use electricity generated with gas, and it spurs new manufacturing in America by businesses that use natural gas. The new day of energy abundance is a sea change from what we've had just a few years ago when we were hearing about running out of oil. In fact, we've been hearing about running out of oil since 1886. That's been changed, and we're not hearing that quite as much anymore. The real concern, though, is how will we take advantage of what we have? Will we do more to set our own course on energy and take advantage of what this could mean for the country? I'm not talking about what the oil and gas industry can do or wants to do. Our industry is ready to do more. No, this is a question that circles back to U.S. energy policy. Quite simply, will our government support more development? Will it increase access to our nation's offshore supplies? Will it speed up federal oil and gas permitting to get more projects moving quicker? Will it build the necessary energy infrastructure like the Keystone XL pipeline? I'm really proud of the fact that the Legion supported that pipeline. Or will the government single out this innovative, job-creating industry with punitive taxes that will only undermine its competitiveness and its success? We can do two things that support things that the country vitally needs. We can provide more jobs and better energy security. That's why we're a little bit disturbed with the Keystone XL pipeline being stopped, because it is the most shovel-ready, energy security enhancing opportunity in the nation. It's a multi-billion-dollar investment spanning 5 states and would provide much more friendly Canadian oil to the United States, besides providing up to 20,000 jobs in the next couple of years, construction jobs, as well as hundreds or thousands of more jobs down the road. Our country needs and wants more natural gas, yet regulations are in the works that would be so restrictive that we risk leaving that resource in the ground. There are multiple federal departments and agencies now contemplating new regulations on hydraulic fracturing. That technology has been used for more than 60 years and is subject to multiple regulations already, but those who want no more oil and gas at all are trying to stop its use. Hydraulic fracturing may be the most exaggerated environmental issue in more than a decade. The number of new federal oil and gas leases in the United States was down by 44% between 2009 and 2010 compared to the previous 2-year period. But you might be thinking, wait, I've heard political ads saying that oil and gas development has risen in the last 7 years. Well, those ads are partially true. Production is increasing, but the progress is happening on state and private lands, not on federal lands. In 2010, non-federal drilling permits across the U.S. increased by 31%, but federal drilling permits dropped by 13%. The truth is that oil and natural gas production in America is increasing, despite what the federal government is doing, not because of what it is doing. Many in Washington want to build an energy future based on renewables, and there's nothing wrong with renewables. In fact, our industry sees a promise in renewables too, and has invested quite a bit in renewable energy. But renewables can't do it all. They can't even do most of it, not what we'll need for the next several decades. The U.S. Energy Information Administration predicts we'll need 10% more energy to meet our nation's demand in the year 2035. Even with significant increases in renewables, oil and gas will need to supply 57% of the nation's total energy that year. The bottom line is this: energy is vital to America's well-being. And the more oil and gas that we can produce at home, the better off we'll all be in many ways. What we need is every form of energy, not just renewables and not just fossil fuels. We can't stay trapped by policies driven by a philosophy that says we have to have less oil and natural gas in order to have more of something else. Oil and natural gas will be part of our energy future, And indeed, the question is not, will we need them? The question is, where will we get them? We have the supplies and we have the technology. The choice is clear to me, and I hope it's clear to you. We can produce more at home, more of the oil and natural gas we need, investing billions more in our economy, putting more people to work, and strengthening our position around the world. Or we can let others outside of our country have a greater influence. Policymakers will make that decision, but you and all Americans will soon decide who those policymakers will be. I urge you to make energy an election year issue. Join the conversation about energy, advocate for policies you support, and elect those who will make the law of the land as we need. We are proud to be a sponsor of this convention and to support the wonderful men and women who have bravely served our country. And we're proud of the products and services that our industry provides to the country, to our citizens, our manufacturers, to our infrastructure, and to our military. We're proud of the over 3,000 products made by the petrochemical feedstocks that improve the health, economy, and quality of life of people all over the world. Our industry provides the energy, the jobs, and the tax revenue for a strong recovery and a secure energy future. Thank you very much for your time.